All right, so I got Matt Johnson here. We're laughing because he has no idea what to do with his hands or where to look. But hey, man, you're being average guest here, man. You got to be way above average right now.
I'm gonna suck it up.
Suck it up, man. So yeah, obviously tell people about what you do. You're a personal trainer with your own business, successful business, which is cool. I want people to hear about that. At the end of the day, a lot of people obviously are trying to be a little bit more creative nowadays, ambitious with their own kind of businesses, and it's not always that successful or as easy as they want it to be. So obviously go over the challenges about what you do and what the name of your business is and all that fun stuff.
For sure. So I run a company called HomeBodyFit.
Mm-hmm.
I go to people's houses, train them in home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on the road a lot. It's great. My love of fitness translates over into helping people reach their goals. And that's what I'm passionate about. I want to help people get to a place where they're comfortable, where they're confident, where they can go out and share their knowledge with other people as well. I run a boot camp as well. I co-own with a partner. We do that in Burlington. A lot of high intensity interval training. Come up with original time signatures, stuff that works. We've been doing that for probably about 7 years. It's really successful.
Foundational principles.
Yeah. It's, I love it. Like I can come do a podcast whenever I want, which is amazing.
Excuse me? Whenever you want. You're a one-time guest, sir.
I'm coming back tomorrow.
See what the views are like.
My phone's blowing up because the podcast is doing so well.
We're live right now. That's good, man. So you're banging out. So tell us a little bit about your background. Obviously, you were in the Canadian Armed Forces.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. So what was your role there? How did you get there? Like, what was the process of coming out of school? I'm assuming you did that as like a young teen.
Yeah. So, a long time ago now, 1997, I joined the Armed Forces. I was out of high school. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to learn what they were teaching, right? Like I wanted to learn more discipline in my life. I wanted to get more in shape.
You just don't have like a structure. You didn't really know.
Yeah,
what you
I just wasn't like I didn't grow up doing a lot of sports and stuff. I wasn't really into it. I was out of shape. Like I didn't really think I had. That wasn't me. I didn't identify with that. Funny enough, it was the one thing that was really missing, right? So I think I'm one of those people. I have excess energy, and if you don't channel that, it becomes negative energy, right? So I would eat more. I try to fill that void that I really didn't know what to do with. And it just took me like a long time to figure out. So I went to the Army. During training and stuff, I started to realize, probably mostly through fear of failure and watching movies like Full Metal Jacket, that if you're, the worst, you're screwed, right? So you definitely have to step up and try. So
you don't want to be the omega of the group.
Yeah, you don't want to be Private Pile. So out of the fear of failure, I started to notice that I actually was pretty good at pushing myself. I ended up winning like a running event where we were getting challenged. It was only 3.5 kilometers, but I was at the top. Yeah, and I mean, I never saw myself as a runner or anything, right?
I want to get that phone. I want to get the beeping up.
Yeah. No. Okay, hold on.
Well, yeah, that's all right. In the meantime, I'll just do my comedy act or something. First time podcaster.
That's how popular my business is.
All cancellations tonight. All right. Phone done.
People are like, are you with the Brendan Rynka?
The Fear Being Average podcast? Yes, the one and only.
So yeah, I mean, I don't like love talking about myself, but I realize that through this, we're going to help motivate some people, right?
Yeah.
But like, you know me, like how often do I like brag about things, really,
No, but it's more so I want to hear about, because you also went through that experience. I think a lot of people, they lack that structure.
Yeah.
You hear Jocko Willink was a Navy SEAL, and he talks about like discipline equals freedom, right? For a lot of people, they don't have the structure or discipline in their life. They almost need an outlet that either is going to build really good momentum for themselves or it's going to hinder that momentum, right?
Sure.
So having an outlet like that going into the Canadian Armed Forces gave you some sort of outlet, which obviously helped mold you into a more disciplined, well-rounded individual.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I, did quite well, I think, at it. And
what was your role? What were you doing?
So I was a Leopard C1 tank driver.
Okay.
So it's a lot of maintenance. There's actually not a lot of once you're in the unit, there's not a lot of physical activity. It's kind of up to you to do that. And for a time, I kind of fell off that. Whereas if you're in the infantry or something, obviously you're doing a lot of running and PT every day.
PT?
Physical training.
Okay.
We really weren't. So a lot of people, including myself, started to put weight back on. I kind of almost had this mentality of like, oh, now I'm in better shape. I don't have to work out now.
Yeah.
I still didn't really get it. It didn't click for me. When I did, I knew I only wanted to do 3 years. I went to OCAD for fine art. So
it's a transition right there.
Yeah, it was kind of weird going from the army to an art school.
You found yourself.
Yeah,
long, nice painting.
Yeah, it was interesting. I liked all those aspects.
So what kind of art were you drawing?
Yeah, so okay. I was drawing. I also I did sound stuff. It's different kinds of medias.
Okay, design.
Yeah, and then exactly. So after that, transition to graphic design. But back to the military. When I got out, I kind of fell into that. I still didn't use the tools that I had learned for myself, right? So I still wasn't maintaining a level of fitness. I kind of fell off of it because I was like, well, I don't need it that much now. And then of course it's just not for me. I need to be a physical person, right? So you get a better peace of mind. You feel like you get that excess energy out.
Sure.
So then I kind of gained a ton of weight.
How much are we talking?
So I was like a lot of weight. So yeah, so I was like, I was like 260, but not working out and not muscular.
Okay. So you get what, like 80, 90 pounds?
Yeah, like to be honest, I don't remember what I started with, but enough that I'm getting like stretch marks and stuff, right? Yeah. Like I'm not sure why I fell off that hard, right?
When you got back, when you were in doing your art degree, were you like, was that all you were doing, or were you working in the meantime too?
Yeah. So I mean, I was actually working. I was drawing flowers for a florist magazine.
Sure.
I also worked at a place for like retired colonels because I was in the military, so I worked a desk, just like greeted them.
So you had structure in your life.
Yeah, for sure. I had structure, but again, I mean, there's no excuse, right? I can sit and go, oh, I didn't have time. Like, no, it doesn't matter. You make time, right?
Yeah.
I still hadn't got that though. I was still, early 20s.
Let's say you're young.
Yeah.
Realistically.
But it doesn't matter. Like obviously, people figure it out at different ages. Anyway, so I got to a point where I went to a doctor when I was like 26, and he's like, cholesterol is brutal, ridiculously overweight. Like he's nice enough, but he's saying like, dude, you gotta do something. Together. Yeah. So then I just started doing, you know what? I'm going to go back to running. So I'm like, take it one day at a time. I'm going to start eating better because that snowball effect of I'm doing this exercise. I want to fuel this workout. I feel better. I eat better, all those things. Yeah. But I only took it one day at a time. And I think that was the biggest thing for me that helped me get to where I wanted to go. Because at first I would mark down on a calendar, like, ran this much today or whatever. And then after a while, you have a whole calendar full of stuff. And then by that point, throw the calendar out because it's no longer about what I've done each day, but just how I feel each day. And that this is part of my reality now, So from there, I kind of ran too much in my knees and ankles. I was getting a lot of issues. So I went into swimming. Same thing. I just go swimming every day.
Yeah.
I went to do a graphic design degree. After in Toronto, at that point, I started swimming at U.T. Started to see people who didn't swim and worked out. And I kind of a little bit of vanity where I thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind having a little more muscle because I really couldn't keep anything on with endurance swimming.
Yeah.
And then so I got into weights, and then I thought, you know what, I was working at like a graphic design firm downtown. I wasn't loving it, I really like being creative, but I found that I just wasn't loving my day to day. And when I met people, I'd talk about working out and getting in shape, and I started to get certified with different skills and stuff. And I thought, you know what, why don't I just do that? That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So,
it's funny how it takes a little time to kind of figure out.
I mean, it took me a long time. And I still use some of my graphic design stuff for
sure.
For the boot camp, for example, or the website. And, I still use it a bit, and it's nicer when I can decide what I get to use it for. But yeah, so then I was like, you know what, I'm going to work at a gym, and I'll just run my own little graphic design business on the side, and we'll see what takes, right?
Yeah.
From there, I mean, people started saying, you know what, why do we need to come to this gym? Would you be willing to come to my house? And because there was issues with the gym and the clients that I wasn't really part of, but I won't name the gym or anything, but yeah, so it's organic transition from, you know, hey, this guy trains us, he's good. And then at first, what was a side thing, made the website over years. Obviously the Google search builds up. I get testimonials. People see it's legitimate and I get good results.
Yeah.
And then it takes on a life.
How long has it been now?
Over 10 years.
Cool.
Yeah.
Full time. So that was it's been a full time gig for 10 years now.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now so you're loving it and doing your thing, right? So
yeah, and I mean it's refreshing because I get these puzzles of all these different clientele who have different goals or different issues or everybody's different personalities, obviously, and it's up to me to figure out how to help that person reach their goal. You know, yeah, it's obviously there's a consensus reality, but everyone has their own perception, right? And everyone has things that they think, whether legitimate or not, are, you know,
the best practices or
even insecurities or things, right? Okay. So you might meet someone and think that person looks awesome.
They look healthy, they look fit,
like they've done studies where you know, you've probably heard of like someone doesn't recognize their wife's new haircut or something, right? Humans recognize more of the energy from the person, especially when they first interact with them, the mood, and then all the little things that they start to recognize later. So it's refreshing because if you think, oh, you know, I just after Christmas, I ate all this food, I'm not feeling amazing, I'm kind of puffy or whatever your issue is, I have a pimple or whatever it is, other people aren't really seeing that. And it's studied, like there's a Yale study on it, right? So, you know, I mean, and for me, just being in a place where I wasn't where I wanted to be and knowing that you can get there, it's, you know, there's no price I can put on that experience, right? To help other people.
Well, that's motivating too, because you've been there and you can preach them, because a lot of people will see trainers and they just assume like anything. If we see someone who's fit, we basically right away assume they've always been fit.
Sure.
If someone who's really successful, we assume they were kind of just born that way. Like we don't sometimes take the time to dial back and try to understand their story, where they started from, what they were doing, where they were 5 years from now, what changed their story, or the insecurities that people that are confident or that look confident are dealing with, right? Like everyone's human, everyone's got shit going on. The external is real, right? And life is real. Like shit happens in life, and it's not always what it seems, right? Obviously, we talk about social media all the time, right? People put out a perception of what they want to look like, who they want people to think they are, but deep down you have no idea what's going on behind closed doors, right? So
100%.
And it's dangerous, and that's why, you know, obviously going off like kind of the mental health aspect is how working out can be a huge, I guess, bridge to increase mental health, right? I think a lot of people
for sure
that deal with the either anxiety or depression or sadness or mood swings or whatever it is, right? They don't feel productive. A lot of the time it dials back to them not taking care of their body first and foremost, right? Because you said it's a cycle. The things you eat are going to give you energy to do the things that you want to do, right? If you're not eating properly, how ambitious are you going to be? How inspired are you going to be? How confident are you going to be? You walk into the gym sometimes, it's you looking good and feeling good about yourself that brings you in that door with high energy.
For sure.
There's days that I know where I'm like, just got a new fresh haircut, looking good, feeling good, maybe a new outfit, whatever. You know, got a couple Nikes on. And you have my nice new boots, my Beetle boots on or whatever. but you're literally, you have this overall vibe about yourself, an aura where it makes you want to go in there and have a really good workout. Where I think sometimes people dial back and they don't have that confidence. They don't want to show themselves to people, right? Because regardless if you're judging or I'm judging or no one's judging, to them, they're already judging themselves and they're coming up with this perception that everybody's going to be looking at them, picking on them from an external point of view, right? So
for sure. And I tell people, like, you don't know who does not feel it. Like, you're not unique in feeling that way, right?
No.
Like some days I'm like, I don't want to be here today.
Sure.
I'm not, so whatever, that it's not the best, this happened or that happened, or you're not feeling
today, man, it's fucking shitty outside. Like, who wants to go to the gym, right?
But you know that once you go, you're going to feel way better after, you know, like, so even days where I'm kind of dragging my heels to get a workout in or whatever, you know you're going to feel way better after you do it.
And it's kind of funny, like when I think to that point, it's like how many times have you gone into a gym or done a workout where you feel worse leaving?
Exactly.
And like I can't count a time where I actually felt worse after a workout. Right? Like it might not be the most game changing thing, but again, there's scientific proof again, man. Like there's endorphins that are being released. It's a mood swing. Like you're gonna reduce the stress and the fatigue that you're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy that a lot of people don't take advantage of it. But that's why it's really cool. Obviously, what you're doing and what we're trying to do is just give people that platform and to realize that they're not all in it by themselves.
Yeah.
And hey, man, we all deal with the same shit, right? So.
And it's empowering to people, and you want to kind of be like, hey, there's another way. Like if you don't feel great, I'm not saying that it's gonna cure everything. There's different issues people have.
There's gonna be a big foundation for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know what everyone's going through. I can only look through my own lenses, right?
But that's an aspect of life you need to check off. You can't tell me that someone is feeling like shit, and then I look at their structure, and then if working out's not there, I'm not saying that's going to be the fix for somebody.
Sure.
But that's got to be integrated in someone's life structure.
To some degree, for sure.
Activity.
Yeah,
I'm not saying go hit weights, right?
Like for sure.
Again, it could be going rowing. It could be going for a walk outside. Like it's doing something where you're moving your body, getting your heart rate going, getting a little bit of a sweat on. Like you're doing something stimulating and engaging, right? Yeah. So, and if that's missing, again, I don't blame why you're in a situation that you feel woe is me, right? Like you can't just show up and not do shit or sit at home and think things are gonna get better, right? Just it's not gonna happen.
Right. There is there's a philosopher, Albert Krasinski, and he developed general semantics, and I found it really interesting after I read the book because everything is from an I perspective. So if I'm like, this table is dark and hard. Now most people would agree with that, but that is my view of that, right? So I get 100% what you're saying, and I personally agree with it, but there are people who maybe can't get to that point of.
What do you mean by can't?
Can't get to the point of.
Good discussion.
So going for a walk for sure. Mm-hmm. Like unless you have something
debilitating. Can't go to the gym?
No. So can't get to a point of like that endorphin, serotonin type of high, right? Sure. Like pushing that hard. But no matter what, you're gonna feel better. Like you might, like I've had people say like, well, I don't get what that runner's high that people are talking about. You have to go really hard. I personally, when I go hard, I get that. I feel amazing. You know what I mean? But I've talked to people who have never got that before.
Now, have those people tried different forms of exercise? Have they tried yoga? Have they tried Pilates? Have they tried rowing?
Exactly.
Running?
So that's kind of where I was going to go with this. Okay. So you have to find kind of what works for you. There's also people, I think, vibrate on different levels. So some people, something like yoga might be more their speed. You know what I mean? And they might, where you meet, like there are people you meet all the time. Like my energy's pretty high. There's people with really kind of low vibrations. You know what I mean? Maybe the high intensity stuff's not for them. Maybe something like distance or walks or whatever, you know. But the key is, I totally agree with it, is finding that physical thing, because this is your vehicle in this world, and you can't just put some gas in once in a while. You know what I mean? Like you got to take care of it.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think a lot of people don't have that perspective, right? They try one thing, and it's like, working out's not my thing. Yeah. Isn't for me.
Yeah,
it's like, well, that's bullshit. Like, okay, maybe this form or maybe this environment wasn't for you.
Yeah,
you can't say the gym wasn't for you. Like, did you try to get an actual routine? Did you learn the proper exercises? Did you have confidence that if I did A, B, and C in 3 months, I'm gonna get D? Or are you just going to the gym doing shit? I know if I went, and I tell people this all the time, if I go to a jiu-jitsu gym or a kickboxing gym, and I just walk in there and I start kicking a bag or punching a bag or rolling with people without any technique given to me, what do you think is going to happen to me?
Yeah. Get injured.
I'm going to get injured. I'm going to get hurt.
For sure.
I'm going to get embarrassed. I'm not going to learn anything. So probably going to get smashed in jiu-jitsu, get tapped out a shit ton of times, regardless. And I'm not going to feel like I'm getting any development done. What is driving me to keep coming back if I'm not learning?
Right.
And I'm getting beat up every single time.
And that's where I come into having a job, right?
Yeah, because, for sure.
You know, and to be honest, there's a lot of people who just don't feel comfortable going and working out outdoors, you know, or in front of people, right? So, you know, I go to your house and it's just me and you, and I help you reach your goals that way.
Yeah.
You know, I get that too. You know, like if you're like if you don't feel super confident, maybe you don't want to go to a place where you assume everyone is very confident, though that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell someone that sometimes if they, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
they've just created this wall, right?
But I think more people going off that, there is that barrier of like, you can't just do everything that you're comfortable with. There's going to be a time where you got to man the fuck up, and you got to say to yourself, this isn't the most comfortable thing.
Yeah.
This is not the most comfortable environment. Guess what?
Yeah.
This is actually going to progress me a lot further. Me going towards discomfort is the best thing for me. I'm getting outside of the person I am right now, and the person I am right now is not working. Something's got to fix.
The most satisfying thing to me is living in an uncomfortable state and coming out of it on top.
Yeah.
You know,
like how good you feel. Like after,
amazing,
it's not like,
right?
And again, it's not like every first session you leave being like, oh my God.
That's not every day. You know what I mean? That's a digging deep type of scenario.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't get a good workout in. I'm saying that when you're like really living in the grind, you know, and like you're in something where time is slowing down. It's that
like flow state.
Relativity is so real, right? Like it's like Einstein, like sitting on a hot stove for 2 minutes or staring at a hot girl for 2 minutes, like which goes quicker, right? So
it's true,
you know, but the reward of that is so amazing, you know? So yeah, you got to feel uncomfortable sometimes for sure. And the more uncomfortable, like I'm not talking about hurting yourself, but like that pushing past your plateaus, right? That's where you're really going to learn about yourself, and you're going to progress to where things you don't even know about. It's like the 4-minute mile, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
Right. So people thought they couldn't beat that forever. All of a sudden, this perception, somebody beats it, boom, floodgates open. You know,
the impossible becomes possible.
For sure. It's all mental. It all starts up there. So a good one is when I went through a period when I was trying to get longer in my plank.
So tell people that you did a 23-minute plank?
Yeah, so that was my highest 23 minutes.
That's insane. I want to talk about that. So 23 minutes. Damn, bro.
So at that time, that was...
If anyone's listening to this, or whoever is listening to this, try a plank right now. Just try one today and see what you get. Chances are most people maybe will cap it like 2 to 3 minutes. 3 is 4, I think, is like a pretty decent plank. I'm like, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah.
So damn, 23 minutes. Talk about that.
So at the time the world record was 50. This is maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was an American, and he had it for 50 minutes. So at that time, I thought, you know what, I might be able to go for that. Even though 23, it's a far off, right? It's not 50.
So you thought that once you got 23, then you're like, all right, maybe I can push. No, but you were like,
no, I was probably at I probably got like about 15, and I thought, you know what, it's as horrible as it is in 2 minutes in as it is at 10 minutes in. And I thought, if I can just keep going. So we did during class one day, we did a plank for as long as you can. Once you're done your plank, you go over and start with the circuits. And I thought, you know what, I feel pretty good today. I'm gonna see what I get here. And even 23, like I mean, I'm not saying I could have done longer, but I kind of like at the 20-minute mark, because I didn't say I'm out to do 23 minutes today. I thought, you know what, I got through. But first of all, I'm the trainer, so I'm like, oh, I better get the best time here, or so people were doing amazing. You know, people are like averaging like 6 minutes, and it's that.
What the hell's going on in this water, man?
But it's that.
Was it a point that you guys were practicing plank?
Yeah, like we do a lot of planks, right? Yeah. But it's a lot of that pure energy, right? Like other people are doing it.
Environment's contagious.
You know, it's that military mindset, right? Like I'm not gonna tap out first here. So anyway, we got to a point, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go like minute by minute, and so I just kept watching. The rest of the class went on around me.
You training this class?
My partner was training it, and he was doing awesome. And I thought, you know, I'm gonna keep going. And the only reason I'm not saying I could have kept going, but I was gonna stop at 20.
You're saying you could have been.
I thought, you know what? No, I'm not saying that.
I don't want to break the record today on a Tuesday.
100% not saying that. I'm saying when I got to 20, I thought, you know what, I can make 21. And then when I was at 21, I thought, I really like the number 23.
Sure.
I'm doing 23. And then I was out, you know. But don't get me wrong, every second was and I wanted to quit the whole time. But after doing it, I felt amazing. And now I can throw it in my feather in my cap and be like, hey, you know, not that I bring it up, but anyway,
did today.
Where I was gonna go with the 4-minute mile stuff. So at that time it was only 50, right?
Yeah.
Then I think it was about 2 years ago. this guy who was, I believe he's ex-military and like a monk. He had some like meditation, high level stuff going on. He made it to like 5 hours.
No.
Okay. So 5 hours, catheter in 5 hours. Okay. After that, then I believe it was the original guy. I'd have to look all this up. I think it was George Hood, I think his name. He came back, or whoever the other guys came back, and he did like 5.5 hours. And then those two guys back. So now it's at like 8 something, right? But it's those floodgates of
And this is
perception.
obviously within the last like 10 years?
Oh, it's in the last like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, where it was like, because if you said to someone 50-minute plank, you'd be like, you are insane.
Yeah.
But now you're like, hey, 8.5 hour plank or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like,
but that's something to highlight too. Is I talked to this with another guest, Saw the other day, and we talked about how nowadays we compare ourselves with. We have access to comparing ourselves with the best of the best.
Yeah.
And again, what we talked about is that back in the day, before like the internet and all that social media, you kind of had a group of 50 or to 100 people, right, around you in your proximity, and chances are you were the best at something. Maybe you're the best artist or the best designer or the best plank holder. And you feel good about that. Like that's almost an identity for you, right? Now, all of a sudden, you're expanded your environment, your demographic to the entire world, billions of people.
Yeah.
Even though that accomplishment is still quite an accomplishment that you should be proud of regardless, and you should take with you with a sense of pride. But you know what? I'm proud of what I did because that's an achievement.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that when you do hear an 8-minute or 8-hour plank, that doesn't take away from your accomplishment.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome
what I mean?
point. Yeah.
It's very hard to, because sometimes, even with my challenge last year, I'm trying to do all this cool stuff, and all of a sudden, this guy Ross, right? And I'm like, I hear he does this triathlon. He does a triathlon with a 100-pound log.
Yeah.
He climbs a rope the size of Mount Everest. He swims across Great Britain. And like all of a sudden, I'm motivated and inspired by that.
Yeah.
But it kind of takes away from the accomplishment that you did, because you're like, you shouldn't. It shouldn't at all.
Yeah.
But we're ingrained to compare, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully you can kind of take that, and anyone listening to this can take that and just remember what you did is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Don't compare yourself to other people. Whoever did something really crazy, big props to them. Use that as maybe more inspiration and motivation, but don't look at what you did any less.
For me, I remember when I went to OCAD, like I thought, I like growing up, I thought I was a awesome artist. You know, that was kind of my identity.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'm a good. That's what I'm good at. You know what I mean? And I went there and I was fine. But I saw people who I thought, wow, that guy is way better than me, or that girl is, you know.
What did you do at that point? Did it make it look like, well, I got no chance to become an artist?
So I was still young at that age, and I didn't see it as a motivator to step up. I thought, you know, I'm not as good as them, you know. But it was a good lesson looking back, because just like you just said, like now I think that's awesome, that's motivating, but also motivates me to push myself. And maybe I'll never be as good a whatever as that person.
Be. It's like Carol Dweck, the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. Like, sure, you have the ability to adapt and grow. Right?
Exactly. Like there's no wall around me, right? Like I don't know what I'm capable or what I'm not, right? As long as you just try, like you said, like putting yourself in a different situation or something, trying something new, not measuring yourself against someone else. You know, like so. For example, someone I train, for example, could be like, well, you know, you're in great shape, or maybe they don't think that or whatever, but to me I'm like, what, you know, this is not what I want it to be, and this is, you know, and this guy who I, you know, see on the internet or whatever, he's, you know,
that's good shape. Yeah,
but I mean, those things, I know that's silly, you know, like what is there's it's like George St. Pierre, right? Like saying, he's like, they're like, oh, are you the greatest fighter of all time? And he's like, no, I'm just lucky on some nights, and I train hard on it. Like, there is no greatest of, guess, you know, I mean, sure, for maybe strength or something, like who can lift the heaviest thing. But as long as you're trying, like, how are you hurting anything? You know, you're winning. Yeah.
But it's tough to keep that mindset.
Sure.
You're 1,000% right. Like that should be the mindset.
Yeah.
I'm trying to improve. I'm becoming stronger, wiser, better. Right.
Yeah.
That should be the only thing that matters, right? It's just day to day. And using those other examples as motivation, but really dialing back to make sure they don't take the sails out of your win.
Yeah, you know? I guess it's a lot harder now with social media stuff.
It's like it's difficult, right? Because people see it's unrealistic expectations. Yeah. Again, it should be a motivating factor.
Yeah.
But again, we're programmed to just feel bad about ourselves, unfortunately.
And these, you have to remember that these are just avatars of people, like you said, right?
For
They're
sure.
not, they're the best, lighting, this, you're going to obviously Photoshop me after
For
this,
sure, man.
make me look
You're
amazing.
gonna be black in this in this video.
So, I mean, you got to take everything with a grain of salt now, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's a bodybuilder. Everyone's a fitness model. Everyone's not realistically, but on their social media page, or you know what I mean? Or everyone's having the best vacation ever, or everyone's family life is perfect.
Yeah.
Like no one puts up like, dude, my day sucked today, and if they do, that guy's a little weird, you're like, what's up with that guy?
Yeah, why is he telling me his day sucked?
Yeah. I can't follow this guy anymore.
Immediate unfollow.
What a weirdo.
Yeah.
So,
no, but you make a good point, right? Like everyone's putting the best thing out there, regardless if it's fiction or fact, right? And
yeah.
it is for you to not judge yourself against any of those people, and hopefully you follow people and that you are just excited to see them living a good life, right? Realistically, if it looks like they're doing well and they had a baby, they got a new house, a new job, be happy for them, right? Realistically, if you're taking care of your own shit, and you're doing well with what you want to do, right? It doesn't matter if someone makes 150K and I'm making the money I make. If I'm doing something I'm really extremely passionate about and happy with, and I'm making an impact, that should be the one thing that matters, right? Like it doesn't really concern me that much if someone's making that much money. It's good for them, right? Realistically, and if there's someone who brags about it, they're not someone that I'm going to hang around with anyways, right?
Sure.
It's not going to be
like's going to attract like, right? Like you want people who are on the same wavelength as yourself,
for sure.
Like you do all these amazing endurance things, and you're always challenging yourself. Like I think that's awesome. At no time do I think, oh man, what, how come on? Like if anything, I'm like, oh man, I gotta try something new.
And that's hopefully the thing.
Yeah,
right? I use that motivation from people doing it, and then hopefully in turn I can inspire people to do that, right? And it's going to be a continuous cycle, right?
Yeah.
But sitting there and feeling sorry for yourself, or demeaning someone's accomplishments is never going to be the answer, right?
No, and I think like when you get to a point like you're at, obviously, when you're a positive person, and you want other people to be positive too, right? Like at no time do you want to bring anyone down, like, because why would you want that unless you're not happy yourself? But it's good because when you see someone else like trying to maybe bring down your accomplishments, you're like, whatever, like it's not going to phase you.
No, right? At that point.
Yeah,
that
it's like, well, I feel bad for that person.
Like real talk. Like, and we talked about this, right? Like we have a mutual acquaintance, right? That was just someone who brings someone down. And you're like, that guy he's not happy in life,
I feel, if anything, I feel sorry, right, for the person, because I think, well, hopefully one day you get to a point where you're just confident in yourself, and you don't need to take someone down to feel better about yourself. That's kind of sad. You know?
Absolutely. And you're never gonna win that battle.
No.
You gotta everyone out there. Someone's gonna be doing something cool and good with their life. Like, it's a dangerous game to be playing. Like, how does my life compare to that person's life? Or just like live your best life, whatever that looks like, right? If you having a garden and you having a nice 9-to-5 job that you really love,
I have a nice garden.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
I was reading yesterday about self optimization, like even having that, like having like an organic garden of spices, or what would you call like oregano? What would you call that? Is it spice? But I think there's a different kind of word for it. Either way, I think there's something else to it.
It's not a fruit.
Fruit meat. Yeah. So, but having that, like even having that, taking care of that and nurturing that, it gives you responsibility, right? It's not just going to the grocery store picking up. It's like, no, like now I'm actually gonna have some sort of purpose.
Yeah.
And it's small, these little things, right? But I almost envy. Like I like the idea. I used to hate the idea of farming. Of like one day maybe I'll farm, like that, have like a big piece of land and maybe have some chickens. And
why did you hate that idea?
Getting up really early.
Oh,
right? Like the idea, like, oh man,
sure.
Like maybe I thought this when I was like 16 or 15 or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, man, imagine having to get up at like 4 or 5 a.m. every morning. But like at the end of the day, that's a big purpose in your life. If that's what you're really surrounding yourself with, say you get to the point where like that's the majority of your life, and maybe you're working a little bit here and there, that kind of responsibility is really, really healthy for you. You know what I mean? And it's that
crazy that we've
shift.
Got away from that, where like at one point in time, most people could, with the help of maybe their family or friends, could build their own house, create their own food. Like it's kind of insane that we lose these things.
If there's something I hate, I'm not going to do it, right? Like if I hate trying to design and do technology stuff, like I'm just going to pay someone to do that realistically, because it's not, at that point it's no longer challenge is just frustrating, right?
Well,
There's a balance, right?
There's a nice,
Dichotomy of
it's the barter system of, hey, you can do this, I can do this here,
For sure. But I think more people need to kind of find ways to include purposes in their life.
Yeah.
And even for me, like it's just, for yourself, it's like, what can I do to have more small victories?
The garden thing is.
So what do you grow?
We started doing it like maybe 5 years ago, and each year you learn a little bit like what grows better where, right? So we tons of kale.
Is it an indoor garden or
no? It's just outside. So it's all in the summer, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like right now we're not growing anything, but we have everything like preserved, right? So we'll preserve like cucumbers, make pickles, or like different probiotic stuff, or hot peppers, stuff like that. So or tomatoes, so you can cook with it or whatever. But yeah, like kale, for example, like organic kale, it's like, I don't know, like $6 for a little thing of kale. Kale grows like a weed, and it's like the least bitter kale I've ever had. The stuff that grows from my own garden.
Can be pretty bitter when you're
it's amazing. So that tomatoes.
How much? So what are you doing? Is it a couple seeds or what's?
Like we actually go.
How much does it cost?
Fran goes. How much does it cost? Not much. Like nothing. Like
real question, sir.
And Fran gets like some special seeds that are supposed to grow back. I don't.
Magic beans.
Yeah. So we traded this cow.
Trade this cow for these magic beans,
and it's just a beanstalk now. But no, yeah. So I don't go buy the seeds, but it's not like
is any of this story true?
It's not a lot, and it's all you have to do is you go and like peel a couple things off every day. There's your salad,
So how many kale leaves are you actually getting? Are you able to get like 2 cups per day?
Oh my god, tons!
Wow,
yeah,
that's so cool.
Like as big as this table, just overflowing with kale.
Days.
Not every day. No.
What are we looking like?
Wow, I don't know, but enough that you can just.
I'm intrigued.
You just go out and you pick some kale and then you eat it, and then next time you want
kale,
you go and you
kale a day. That's what I want to know here.
I think you might have some deficiencies you should look into.
Some more kale.
Yeah. All right.
Technically, if you get 4
tables of kale,
then there you go. And you can have a table of kale a day.
All right. So kale.
What about spinach?
All right, that's a kale break. Yeah, spinach.
Don't drink when I'm drinking. Someone's got to talk.
Hot peppers.
Yeah.
We way too many hot peppers this summer. Like we're getting way off track here, but
why don't you ever try selling any of this at like farmers market?
No.
You should.
No. That
good deal.
Yeah, I mean,
you can undersell the competition and.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think then
I'll do it for you.
There you go. I think that you're hired.
I'll be knocking
as the farm boy. He's gonna take my stuff and sell it for me.
My dream has been made.
Yeah, forget the podcast is over.
No.
We're
The farm dream is here. That's good though. That's a nice way to. And when did you start incorporating that? When did that become a thing?
Yeah, like I said, maybe 5 years ago or so.
Cool.
But at first it didn't work that great. Like the first year, and it's going to be probably like that for most people because you get different levels of light in your backyard.
So what won't work? Like you just won't get an abundance, or like
some things just like some things just I can't think of. Like I think we did like lettuce.
Yeah,
it just didn't grow.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it needed more sun or something. So you just find places where, and then like tomatoes, we put them on the back porch in their own potted things because there's more sun there. They go crazy.
True.
Like, it's just little things you figure out.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
Makes you want
some makes you want some damn kale and tomatoes right now. Jeez. No, but it's funny how it's so cheap and efficient. Backyard.
Yeah.
You're not going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
You're saving money and you feel like a sense of fulfillment from growing your own plants.
Yeah. It's nice. We have people over and we're like, hey, we grew a salad. So and they're like, well, it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Grew a salad. Like that's pretty
dope. My grandparents had a farm. Grew everything. Like the whole basement was just preserves, right? Like every meal there'd be like desserts.
That's the funny thing when people say that like it costs too much to eat healthy. It's like Well, with even a little bit of effort, it's super cheap.
And the knowledge too. But luckily now with the internet, I mean, you can kind of figure out
for sure
most things, right?
Yeah.
On your own. You don't even need to go through a lineage of people teaching you secrets, right?
Yeah. So what did your grandparents have? They had a farm?
They had like a 60-acre farm, not like no animals or anything, dogs and stuff, but just like
dogs in a barn. Anything
like you can imagine that you can eat was grown there, aside from meat and milk.
Damn, crazy.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it though, right?
It's yeah, like especially the cost, right? Because now that everyone knows, not everyone, but like it's more common knowledge that you don't want, different chemicals in your food and the effects they might have or whatever. So that creates a
That
price
guesswork's
premium
exhausting too, right?
for sure. But also it drives the price up, right? Because now they can be like, oh well, this is organic, right? And you're like, what does that mean? Well, the kale grown in my backyard's organic. You know what I mean? And it was so easy; it grows like a weed.
Yeah.
Whereas now
people are too lazy; they're not going to
exactly.
do it. How many people do you know that have a garden? Like,
yeah, not a lot.
Not a lot, realistically.
So, a couple friends of ours, but they're older. They're older than me. Yeah, like mostly retired people who have time to do it. But it's not hard for sure.
Yeah. So going off that, what's your diet look like? If you were to give, because again, at the end of the day, a lot of people they struggle with the idea of like what to eat, what not to eat. And again, I don't need a diet list of like, well, you should.
Sure.
But what's a general idea that you like to give to your client for people to have more clear understanding? So it's not as gray and it's a little bit more black and white in terms of like, hey man, this is good for you, this isn't. This is how you make it simple for yourself.
I think the simplest way to go about it, because most people are looking probably to lose a bit of fat, right? Unless you're like a hard gaining kid and you're looking to put on mass and up your,
for sure.
So we won't deal with that guy right now. But most people are looking to tone down and just live healthier. So I would say like complex carbs over quick carbs for sure. So
educate people what complex are.
So oatmeals, sweet potatoes,
quinoas, brown rice,
for sure. Things that aren't white, right?
And you can check with like people for like complex carb compared to simple carb. Sorry, the glycemic index, right? That's a great way to just Google that. Like high glycemic foods, not great for you. Low glycemic,
right? Because you're spiking insulin, right? And then you're going to store fat. So most people, I would say, you know what? Keep your complex carbs in the morning. Have your oatmeal with your eggs or whatever.
I've heard people say like do fat in the morning.
Yeah. Well, that's another. There's a lot of train of thought here, right? Like,
again, there's no right or wrong.
No. So what I was going to actually go with this is at first you would have your complex carbs maybe, because let's say this person right now we'll give worst case scenario. They drink, sugary pops. They eat French fries. They like everything. There's not a real knowledge of what's going in their body. So at first, let's switch. Okay, first you're going to have complex carbs, morning lunch with your proteins and your vegetables, right? Dinner, we're going to go to no carbs. You're going to have little snacks in the day that maybe consist more of fat or protein, healthy fats.
Nuts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Not saturated fats, obviously, monosaturated fats. And then at dinner, we're just going to do like salad and chicken or something, because by the time you go to sleep, you probably won't have time to burn off any of that excess energy. But because of things that we're so, humans adapt to every stress so easily. So anything you do, you got to keep changing it, right? So then I would start to say, okay, so then let's start to play with those complex carbs now. Let's take those away. Let's take the lunch one out first, maybe add a fat in there, because you still want that energy, but let's try a healthy fat instead and see how your body responds to it.
Healthy fat can be like an avocado. What else would you suggest for lunch?
Yeah, peanut butter, fish, like obviously
tuna, salmon, whatever.
Even
like people like beef and pork and stuff that's depending on how lean it is, right?
For sure. And then I would taper and start to see. So you go, see how your body responds to that. If you want to try to get to a ketogenic area where you're only using fats, and then maybe you spike that once a week which
is going to be difficult for most.
So
the average person.
Yeah,
right? Like,
and you don't. These are
pounds.
Like you might not have to go to that level to get where you want to go. Everybody's body genetics are different, right? For me, like I respond best with a low carb diet, but that being said, I like to fuel my workouts with carbs.
Let's explain that, because you used to be quite heavy.
Yeah.
That your fat cells don't all go away, so you have a harder time.
Right. So once you create a fat cell, it's there. Okay. Unless you get it like surgically removed or something, but it can be empty. So what all that means is I kind of have to earn my carbs, but it's my own fault. Like I also went to that place. It's not the end of anything. It's just I have to watch what I eat. So maybe some people who have a different genetic makeup and never also push to that area, carbs don't really, they're just energy and their body just uses them how they should be used. Mine, I like to store them, right? So I can see immediately if I kind of go too much on carbs. So something like Christmas that just passed, like I'm like, well, I'm going to enjoy it. but I immediately get a little more around my stomach, right?
Yeah.
So
I think for the fat thing, for people that don't know,
Yeah.
is that like good fats can replace bad fats. Or
Yeah.
right? So that's
Yeah.
why you saying you're going on a keto type thing because your
Yeah.
body, you need that. You're trying to like kind of switch the fats.
Well, yeah, it's like some people say like keto. I agree. At first, there's a bit of transition period where you do feel maybe like you have less energy, right? Because you're
Again, let's say
you're
we're,
no
we're
longer.
both not experts on the whole
No.
just so people aren't like.
I'm an expert, but no. But at first, when you take away the carbs, so it's like taking gas away from your car and being like, you know what, we're gonna figure out a way to use the oil instead. So like it's not a quick serve thing, and now your body has to kind of transition into using its own fat as well, right? But like I said, then it's more effective, and you're gonna drop fat quicker because fat doesn't equal fat, as you know, right? You're not gonna eat fat; it doesn't go on your body. It's not the 80s when everything was low fat, and all they did is increase the sugar, and everyone thinks they're eating healthy. Yeah, so it's kind of opposite of things that are happening now. Yeah. That being said, I don't personally go like full keto, right? I personally like to put quick carbs around my workout to fuel them either before or after, depending on how if I want to lose more weight or not, then I play with those. I either take them away totally, or maybe I just do the one before if I want more energy for my workout, or if I want to burn more fat during my workout, then maybe I use them after. There's no one formula for anything, even if someone says there is. Like,
which I hope like nowadays that's not a thing, right?
Yeah, no, like everyone wants to sell their own diet or whatever, and some are more popular than others. Like I don't want to even give too much shine to keto because I don't think it's a end all thing. You know what I mean? Like honestly, I like
people need to eliminate sugary drinks.
Yeah,
first.
Exactly.
Let's start off with like just the bare minimums too, right? Like quit fucking drinking sodas and grape juice full of artificial flavors and stuff like that. Like that. Get rid of that stuff.
So if somebody wants me to create a meal plan for them, the first thing I do is I say, okay, so for 7 days, I want you to write down a food journal every day. What time, rough amount, and everything you drink, and the times marked down. And then no one really likes doing that, but it serves two purposes. It lets me know, what the person likes to eat. So, because I don't want to send some total drastic change.
Yeah, no sugars, and they're like, what?
Yeah, like we can still play with. So maybe we're gonna get more fruit, sugar, like you know what I mean. You can play with it. Everything's gonna change over time anyway. And then 2, it allows them to be accountable for what they're eating, right? Because when you have to write it down too, you're like, oh yeah, I did eat that, or like at this time. Oh, why did I eat a bag of chips before bed? You know what I mean? Like, and then I also allow like a cheat meal. Not that everything's going to be super strict, but so there's something to look forward to. Like if you want to have a pizza, then have a pizza, but just have it one night a week. You know what I mean? And earn it, right? Yeah. Like when you're working out, know that, like, do you really want it? You do? Okay, well, let's work out really hard and make sure we earn that. And don't ever feel bad about having it, you know?
True. Yeah, I think that's a big thing for people, right?
Yeah.
They deprive themselves too much where it becomes like an overwhelming thing where they get so, like you see with people that do competitions like bodybuilders, right?
Yeah.
Or fitness competitions. And they deprive themselves of carbs so long, right? They deplete their bodies, right? They're almost on like 1,200 calories for some females. You see a lot of them that aren't quite educated. They eat those carbs right back, and it sits really, really poorly on them the first like 3 to 4 weeks, right? That you need to reverse diet basically. So it's a tricky process, but a lot of people, when they're deprived so long and they jump back on board, like, oh my god, I used to eat like this.
Yeah.
Your body's in a complete different type of shock now.
For sure.
You can't just throw all that stuff that you were eating before. Your body's so used to a very low, maybe like ketogenic diet, right?
Sure.
So yeah, it's tough to kind of play with it, right?
Yeah. So then even
I like your system, right? Just kind of figure out what they're eating, let them tell you realistically, and then you can kind of dial it back.
And I just say like be super honest, like because I would never judge you. There's no right, like whatever you eat, I don't care. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
So then from there we can go, you know what? Actually, this is really healthy, but you're eating a lot of fruit right before bedtime. Fruit's awesome. Maybe we don't need maybe a high glycemic fruit like, watermelon or something like right before bed, and you're getting that insulin spike and then you're going to bed, and it's just not the most effective way.
Yeah.
Let's have that early in the day with some protein that helps lower that glycemic index. You know what I mean? Like there's lots of ways around it. So like, I'm not going to be like, oh, you can't ever eat this, or here's this, 1,400 calorie meal plan that you're going to stick to, which a lot of places do. You know what I mean? Like because Because what'll happen is if I put someone on 1,400 calories a day and take a picture of them, and then take a picture of them 2 months later, and then go, wow, look at what I did for that person. Well, guess what? Go take a picture 8 months from now. They're going to look worse than the first picture, you know, because you can't maintain that. And so that's another thing. I never asked for a before and after picture. If someone gives it to me, that's great. You know, if like all my testimonials come from people saying, you know, can I write you a testimony, or me saying, if you don't mind, but I don't ever ask for a picture. But it's nice if people even give a headshot to show they're a real person.
Yeah.
But coming from a gym background where there was a lot of that, where it's like, they kind of almost like, you go into the system and they're like, okay, take your shirt off. Here, let's take it. And people don't even know what's happening. They're like, what's going on? And all of a sudden they're like, I didn't want to be on this website with my shirt off, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? You know, yes, there's, I guess you're,
is this?
Yeah, yes. Like, I guess they're like, you're accountable, but who are you really there for? You're just there for yourself. You know what I mean? You're to be like, look what I did, at that person's expense of feeling uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
But again, those type of trainers are going to go off of like, no, but I did make them look good in the last 2 months.
I want someone to look good,
of course,
10 years from now. You know what I mean? Like, I want to. It's like teaching someone to fish. Like, I want you to go.
But if someone comes to me and they say I want to look like this in 2 months, I'm like, hey,
sure,
this. But let's remember there is a process to sustaining that, right?
Okay, so there's a good example.
Sustain that long term, maybe 1,400 calories isn't very. I guess long-term beneficial. Sure. So we're going to do 2,000, but this is how the 2,000 calories has to look.
So a good example of that would be like, I've trained a woman for her wedding, right? She's like, I want to look this way in this short amount of time. You know, okay, so we're going to have to do this, but it's going to be hard after, like, we can get to that point. It's not going to be a maintainable thing because we're doing it this quick.
Just be
right?
honest with the
so exactly. So you just be honest, and anything's possible. Especially if you have the person's best interest in mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want to have someone, whether they're a trainer or a nutritionist or whoever's helping you out, as long as you have some kind of trust with that person. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, there's a lot of I don't know. There's a slight shallowness to the industry at times, but there's a lot of really awesome people. You know.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
like, I'm meeting more and more trainers that actually care about the profession. Like, they like the idea of helping people better themselves, have a healthier lifestyle, right? Not just like get ripped, right? If that's what your goal is, fantastic. But a lot of people just want to live a healthier, more sustainable lifestyle.
I want to get people ripped for sure.
For sure, yeah.
But I want them to also maybe not even need to call me someday. You know what I mean? Like, I'm there for everybody, but I'm also like, I'll always have new people. Like, my business will take care of itself. I'm not here to like lock someone in or, you know, I want to like, whatever you want from me out of it.
Fish,
exactly. Right? Like, I'm there for that hour with you. And, you know, I want to give you as much knowledge as I have, you know, like, I don't, you know, like to think everything's like a secret, or I don't, you know, I'll share this right now and you have to pay extra for that. Like, no, like,
realistically, these programs are online, like people can do them, but like the idea is like, you're holding them accountable. And again, programs don't mean that much shit online unless there's like some sort of accountability.
Yeah.
And if they're getting their form rectified, how many times
for sure
there's video playing at the gym I work at, right? Of the exercise. They can watch it while they're doing it. They're still gonna be bad form. There's video right in front of them of the movement being done.
Yeah.
And the form is still not doing well.
For sure.
And they need that correction. They need to understand what they're engaging, why they're engaging it, why they're activating this, what's being underactivated. What should be your focus for this movement, that kind of stuff, right? And then understand the principles and dialing it back and learn the foundational movements, right?
For
sure. A lot of people want to jump in sometimes, right? They just want to do shit.
Yeah.
That's great. I love the energy. I love the motivation. But you got to remember it's a process. Like, you need to adapt the body to be able to move in the appropriate manner so you aren't hurt long term, right?
And you're right. And there's a spectrum of how much control people have over their bodies too, right? So like, there's one level where people are very athletic, even naturally, right? And then there's another level where people don't have the best coordination or they're not sure how their body's supposed to move. So that's where you come in, right? As a trainer to say, you know, because sometimes you can't feel if you're doing it wrong. You know, if something's not immediately hurting, or maybe some people don't yet know the difference between like a good muscle soreness and a tendon pain, you know what I mean? Like a good and bad source. So like, helping people with the form, like you said, is the first thing you got to go to.
And educating them about everything, right?
sure.
Realistically, from nutrition to form to longevity to motivation, how to shock the system. I think a lot of people,
right,
they lose motivation, right? You see a lot of people that are like 2 months gym goers, right? They go on for 2 months.
Yeah.
Either they don't have a result or they get a result, but they don't know how to sustain that, right? And they're doing the same thing over and over and over, which again, your body adapts very quickly to things, right? So you need to understand like there's a process to developing and staying motivated and seeing a different result, right?
When I worked at a gym, January they would sign, I think 60% of their year, or something ridiculous like that, and I think like a very high percentage of that grouping would not make it to 6 months, right? Because 6 months they've proven if you can commit to something physical for 6 months solid, there's a very high percentage that you will be a lifetime workout person.
Yeah.
For I don't know, a workout person, but so you just gotta like, and that's kind of that. I look back when I was doing that, like I didn't know these facts at the time. When I was doing that day by day thing, like I didn't sit there and go, well, when am I gonna look like this? Because I know that's a thing that sure part of me wanted, but that's not what it was about, right? It was just like, what am I gonna do today? How am I gonna feel better today? Then I'm going to eat something well, feel well. And it's just that snowball effect, right?
Yeah. I think you'll forget, like, they have a lot of life to live.
For sure.
You're 30 years old, you're 40 years old. You change in your life for the next 2 years. And again, like, people sometimes go, like, next 2 years I got to work out like this to lose 100 pounds. Like, maybe.
Yeah.
But who cares? If you're 42, 35, whatever it is, 23, and you've changed your life for the better. Yeah. You have so many years ahead of you to live the life that you're actually happy with. To be healthy, to do things you want to do, look the way you want to look, feel the way you want to feel. Like, it's that perspective. Like, life is going to catch up to you. Like, the bad habits you indulge in today, they are going to catch up to you, man. Like, show me your habits today, I'll show you the person you're going to become 5 years from now. Like, that's a given. And when people want to fight that future isn't coming, wait for it.
You're never too old to change either, right?
No.
Like, it's is my glass half full or half empty? Like, if you don't think you can do it, you're not going to be able to do it. You got to put faith in yourself, right? And anything that you want to achieve is possible, especially if you look at it, if you break it down into small goals, right? Like, if I remember what I had a friend one time who said to me, what are you going to do? You're just going to work out for the rest of your life? I'm like, that is the most insane way to phrase that I've ever heard. You know what I mean? Like, now to the point where, like yourself, where the workout is just part of your routine. It's part of your day. It's what makes you feel good. You look forward to it. You enjoy it. Maybe not every single day, but majority. It's not. I don't sit there and go, I don't have to mark on a board anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's part of my life. And
it's a non-negotiable
I love it.
thing.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna make time for it. Like, I have 2 kids and I got stuff going on and job and whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna get a workout in. Like, not neglecting anything else. I'll just, if I have to wake up earlier, I'll wake up earlier. If I have to stay up later, I'll stay up later. If you can't watch an hour Netflix at night, that's what it is, right? Then, but I'm with you with the no time excuse. Like, time is an illusion. You decide how you're going to live your life,
you
right?
create that time. That's why I'm happy that you went over that, right? Because end of the day, people say that I have a job, I have kids. Like, okay, I don't have that. I get that.
Yeah.
I know people that do, and they still manage it, right? End of the day is prioritization, right?
Sure.
If you know you have to cook for your kids that night, pick them up from school, put them to bed, take them to karate, whatever the case is, that means you got to get up an hour early. Or you got to go to get a workout at lunch. Or you make an intent, whatever it is, like, you gotta fit that up. It can't be negotiation per day.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, let's see if I have time for it tomorrow. It's like, no, we're going to make time. And again, it goes off my fifth step of my speech, right?
Okay.
You got to figure out what your 10 values are. And you can't neglect any of those in any day. Like, you need to nurture those in some regard, right? For you, it's going to be family, love, connection, obviously, with that kind of stuff. Fitness is going to be big for you. You can't take days off from nurturing those values.
Right.
Or you're going to feel very empty, right? You could be like, I'm going to do the next 3 days and just work out and neglect my family. No.
Yeah.
You're going to feel shit about yourself, and you're going to be like, wow, I'm not a good dad. And that's going to take a toll on you, right? Same thing. Like, if you don't nurture the elements that really make you happy, what do you expect is going to happen? You're not going to feel good about yourself.
And just like when you're when you're doing a plank or something, like, your brain looks for a way out, right? Like, it doesn't like this. It's like you try to rationalize stopping. I could stop now. You know what I mean? But you can do that with anything. You could be like, well, I don't need, look at the weather. I'm not going to go today. You know what I mean? But then when you do that, you create a pathway, right? You create a new pathway in your brain. And then that gives you an easier way out next time.
Yeah.
So
that basically, now you signify anytime it's
Yeah.
shitty outside,
Yeah.
or it's not ideal, it's not perfect running weather,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go.
So either you're creating positive pathways or negative, but you're always creating pathways, right?
Yeah.
So either you're either following something and achieving things, or you're looking for ways out and you're not, and then that's gonna. So like even when I miss, like I don't work out on Sunday, I take the day off to hang out with the family, but even on Monday I find it a little bit this much harder to get going, you know, and then it's gone. Like as soon as I get there, it's awesome. But I see how that could work, you know. So that's why, I mean, even if you're injured, you work something else, you figure something, you know what I mean? There's stretching you could do. You do yoga. You could figure something out. You do something physical to.
Most people aren't injured. Let's be real, right? Most people just have pains and aches.
For sure.
Deal with it. Suck it up. Get in the gym. Do something. Move your body. Get your mind stimulated. Eat well. You're gonna feel a lot better, right? Better than sitting at home bitching about your wounds, bitching about what actually hurts or what doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Like it's life, right? You deal with it.
And again, don't do it because someone's telling you. Don't do it because someone else is doing it.
No.
Find something in yourself like that you want, and figure out a way to get it, because it's there for the taking. Like anything that you want is on you, you know. Like you have that much power. That's what's cool about it, you know. Go do a little thing today. Boom, do it tomorrow. Start doing it every day. All of a sudden, you're like on a podcast with freaking Brandon Rynka, 365, baby.
Let's go. That's a good way to wrap that bitch up right there, man. Dream big. Dream Brandon Rynka 365. You know, being average. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming out and doing this. This is a good time, man. Obviously, a lot of useful information, and then hopefully we'll do it in a few months again and kind of see maybe some stories with some cool clients. Let's see some success stories and whatever else is going on in life.
For sure.
All right, brother.
My pleasure.